So it says it's
Alright.
posting, and it says it's live. So I'm gonna start talking now. No. Never mind, Charlie. I'm not even gonna start it like
What?
that. I'm gonna start it like this. We're on the air right now, by the way.
Cool.
Damas y caballeros, bienvenidos al show que se llama Ironhammers Overclocked con Charlie Charmander Binks Wilson, con
Hola,
Simon,
amigos!
con Simon el Diamante Ivanov. Y ahora, las voces más especiales del mundo, que van a hablar de videojuegos, de la computadora, del show Game of Thrones. Y what else are we going to talk about, Charlie?
Ah,
Y mujeres y cervezas.
sí,
Ladies and
con
gentlemen.
pelirrojo.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, redheads. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I'm sorry, PC Master Race of all ages. I'm Simon the Diamond. And about 10 miles away from me in Chicago, Illinois, in the great country of the United States of America, Charlie Charmander Binks Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ironhammers Overclocked, episode 9. How are you, Charlie?
I've been better. How about you?
Well, before I ask why you aren't anything, why you are anything less than stellar, I will say about 2 minutes ago you told me you were finishing up a cup of chocolate milk, and then I said, you know what? I still have some tres leches, which I had on the show a few weeks ago, which, like I said, is like a chocolate liqueur that you mix with milk. So, Charlie, check this out. You probably can't see much. Look at this big old cup. It has 2 shots of that liqueur and 2% milk. And hold on, I'm going to taste it on the air. So those of you folks that don't have the privilege of live video, listen to your headphones very carefully at me drinking liquor. Here, check this out. That is good. So I think that's what got me speaking in Spanish, Charlie. So why?
Sí, sí.
How has your week been? That it doesn't sound like you had the greatest week ever. But how was your week overall, Charlie? How was your week of May 28th, 2013?
Well, let's see here. I've been doing a lot of night running, which has been good. The night running has been awesome. It's been cold, so all the schools are starting to let out, so you got a lot of teenagers out at night with their shitty cars, the exhaust and screaming. So the cold's kept them away, and I'm getting a little skinnier, but that's not why it sucks. That's what's keeping me alive. Why does it suck? Dude, work. And I told you what my job is, basically making crappy computers run less crappily and goofing around with a network that is, oh God. Yeah, it's been basically rough at work, and I got hooked back onto Diablo 3. Oh, no.
Oh, God. Why? Did you have that much free time in your life that you said, I just need to kill like 5 hours a day? Is that what happened? Do you have that much free, excess, surplus time in your life?
No. Well, actually, the Diablo 3 thing started because, one, I wanted to see if my Blizzard account's been hacked yet, because it's been hacked every time I take 6 months off. And two, as we've discussed many times already, I'm trying to download some games off of Steam, and I just don't have the right hours to do that. I live with a few people, and they complain when I use the bandwidth, and so my mom is awake till 3 in the morning, and my dad's up at like 5 a.m. I really don't have a whole lot of time to download new stuff, so I've been playing old stuff.
Well,
what
if
have you
okay,
been
so
playing?
this last... Man, okay, so you've been playing Diablo. All right. I actually had the chance to play some new stuff this week. Let me take a look. Steam I want to talk about this later. The Humble Indie Bundle, Charlie. I know we discussed this here and there, but so are you familiar? Are you pretty familiar with their weekly events, pretty much? Their weekly
Yeah.
specials and whatnot?
I couldn't quote you the titles, but I pay attention. What
All right,
games have they got this week?
all right. So last week they released the Humble Indie Bundle 8, and once again, for somehow people that don't listen to the show that don't know what the Humble Indie Bundle is, it's a group called the Humble Bundle guys, and they say, you know what, pay whatever the hell you want, and you'll get a handful of independent games, and you can choose whether this money goes to charity, whether it goes to the developers, or whether it goes to the Humble Bundle guys. And you can literally pay like $1 and you can get all these games. But then you got some people here that pay $5,000, $100, $50, whatever. So these bundles they come out with maybe every month or so, but they've been so successful that now every week they have a Humble Indie a Humble weekly sale. So last week I picked up Alan Wake and Alan Wake's American Nightmare on PC for like $2 or something like that. Which I played the first Alan Wake on 360. I wanted to see how it runs on PC. So hey, you got these two games for $2. Then the Humble Indie Bundle 8 comes with once again a handful of pretty awesome games, including Hotline Miami and Awesome Knots, whatever. Some games maybe you heard of them, maybe you didn't. And then yesterday they released 4 new games. I have never heard of any of them, but I mean, Charlie, I paid $6 for these games, and now I'm getting more. And then you get the soundtracks. You get they're DRM free. They include Steam keys. So this no doubt contributed to my Steam library, Charlie. And now it has added to my already obscene amount of games that I have on here. And actually, I took a screen cap. I was going to upload it on the site. I now have 398 games according to my Steam thing here, and I just keep adding to it with these Humble Indie Bundles. I just keep adding to it, man. So, and to answer your question, I did not play any of those games that I bought.
Did you wind up getting Oblivion, though? I saw it was like $7.50. I didn't know I already had it. I think I had the original Oblivion, but they upgraded me to Game of the Year edition, which was nice. I don't know when I bought that. But what about you? Did you wind up getting it?
No, and we had a thread that you were a part of on Facebook there, and I was asking people, hey, I love Skyrim, but I never played Oblivion, and we discussed this on the show a few weeks ago too, and nor have I played Morrowind or any of the previous Elder Scroll games, and I know there's a long pedigree of Elder Scroll games in the PC world, and the general consensus was, you know what, if you love Skyrim, don't waste your time on Oblivion, but go back to Morrowind, which by then wasn't on sale anymore, because Steam had Morrowind for like $6 the day before, and then Oblivion was on sale. And today, Skyrim Legendary Edition, I don't know if you saw this, it has all the DLC, has now been released for $60. So I think that's why they were kind of trying to sell the back catalog so people can get excited for this. But before we get into that, did you end up revisiting Oblivion now that you saw that you owned it?
Seeing as its download is only like 5 gigs, which compared to Borderlands, which is 10, and Witcher, which I think is 18, I put it first on the download list. So, I have not gotten to play it yet, but it is the closest to being played. And I will say Diablo, though, I was one of my bucket list things to beat the game on Inferno difficulty. And now that they nerfed the shit out of it, I'll actually be able to do it. It's kind of therapeutic to just sit there and roll through mobs. I will say that. And if you go on the auction hall, you can suit yourself up in full legendary gear for not a whole lot of gold. Although there is things that in the auction hall that are selling for like 2 billion gold. And to put that in perspective, it takes me about an hour to get 1 million. So there's thousands of hours worth of gold floating around on there, and you don't need to worry about it though. So anyone who was put off by the Diablo Inferno difficulty, go back, do it. Cross it off your list. It's still the same game, but whatever.
I still have only played the beta, man. I I missed the boat the first time around, and now it's to the point where I don't know anyone that really wants to play it. So I think I will have never played Diablo 3, like actual really played it. So I'm kind of sad about that.
Well, we could probably we can get a group of people to start up new characters. Probably. I don't know who's all played it and who hasn't in our circle, but I've only really played my Demon Hunter and my Witch Doctor. So, there's a sorceress out there and a barbarian.
Okay, I will have to go back to it. Well, now speaking of the auction hall, this week I also stumbled upon the marvel that is the Steam Marketplace. Have you gone into the Steam Community Market? Well, it's in beta now, but have you taken a look at it?
I am on Steam right now. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Right, exactly. I didn't. Steam has so many hidden features that I never even knew about. So under the Community tab, there's a option for Market. So just click on that.
I see it.
And you'll see a little market, and it shows, the default option is popular items, and you've got a Team Fortress 2 supply crate key for $2. You could buy one. Some treasure keys for Dota 2, and now you see some trading cards. The trading card beta just started, and there are a few games, including Counter-Strike Global Offensive, Dota 2, Team Fortress 2, Don't Starve, a few other things that the more you play or the more things you buy, you unlock random trading card drops. And with those trading cards, you can either redeem them for badges and experience points for your Steam profile, which get you backgrounds and emoticons and other weird stuff, or you can sell them on this marketplace. Also, if you buy a game on sale, if it's a tradable item, you can sell that game for whatever you want. And if someone buys it, that money goes into your Steam wallet, and you could use it to buy stuff on Steam. So you can literally, grind in these games like you're talking about on the Diablo auction hall, and and sell stuff. And the reason for me bringing it up is I said, oh, this is pretty cool. So I put a few things. I have about 9 million Dota 2 beta invites, or not beta. I just have free passes to Dota 2. No one wants them, so I put them all on sale for about 10 cents. Yeah, I put them all on sale for about 10 cents, and no one's bought them yet. So it looks like stuff like that is a dime a dozen. I wish I had some rare items because I don't really care. I would sell them for $1 if I could. Get a cheap little indie game for that money. But it's pretty cool. So you should Charlie, at some point check your Steam inventory and see if you have any weird stuff that you could sell on the marketplace. Maybe if it's a game or like a free pass or something that you didn't know you had, you can make a few bucks off it. It's pretty cool.
Okay, where do I see my inventory?
Under your name at the top, there's store, library, community, and then your name will be there, and then you just go to the bottom and it says inventory, and it'll show all that crap there. And it'll tell you if it's a sellable item. It's bad.
My bandwidth is choking right now. I suspect that someone is watching Netflix right now. But bear with me.
That's great.
Okay,
all right. That's great.
I have 2 items. Yeah, just 2. No big deal.
What are they?
I've got a hat for Portal 2 and a Half-Life 2 deathmatch gift.
Sell both.
Sorry, what was that?
10 cents. You should sell both of them. Maybe you'll make $1 off them.
Dude, if there's anyone that hasn't played Half-Life 2 Deathmatch yet who wanted to, I don't know what's... When did that come out?
Oh,
I don't even remember.
At least a decade ago. That's being on the low end.
I think it was like 2000.
Man.
Boy.
All right. Well, because of the bandwidth issue that I see that we're having here, we'll keep the show on a shorter note. So I guess I should mention, right now that I know we're just catching up for the week here, I should mention that last week we discussed that we would build a virtual under $900 gaming build that would take us through the year 2013 and the launch of the ninth generation of consoles. That would rival the power of this fall's consoles. However, this week, actually within like 72 of the show, the new AMD and Intel processors have been launched. Now, for the AMD, you've got the A6, A8, and A10, which are all quad cores, which is very shocking. I thought since we've had octo cores for 2 years now that this would be a 10 core. But I guess not. And then you've got the Intel 4th generation core series, which goes up to the i7-4770K. Charlie, we literally just stumbled upon this stuff today. Any early impressions? I mean, it looks like it's the same thing where you've got the price advantage with the AMD processors, but then you've got your $400 Intel processors, which undoubtedly will have some major beef behind them.
I'm pretty sure the Intel 4th generation will win out in terms of performance. The AMD stuff I didn't see until you posted on Facebook. I can add to the conversation, however, that AMD, I was reading about their outlook, and if you didn't know, every console is using AMD. PlayStation, Xbox, Wii U, they're all AMD. Their stock is actually going up, and they're getting more contracts. I want to say they got something with Apple now, maybe not. There's talks about buyouts from Samsung and even Intel, which are probably bogus, but still, there's a lot of talk going, and their stock is rising, and I am an AMD fanboy, if for no other reason than I root for the underdog, and Intel has been proven in court as using corrupt and unethical business practices. I want to say they lost a major lawsuit in Europe for like billions of dollars.
Oh my God. I myself have been straight AMD probably for the last decade, which is kind of when I entered the PC gaming foray, and I've had nothing but good experiences with them. Right now I'm running a FX 61. I don't even remember what processor I have. I think it's a 6100, if that even exists. Who knows? 60-something. It's a 6-core processor. Does the trick. God, and I love it. I've got my ATI cards,
Same here. I've straddled the fence on NVIDIA and the AMD graphics cards, but my chips have always been Black Edition AMDs. I believe I've got a 955 overclocked to like 3.8 right now, and I've had no reason to go any higher. I have, however, like I mentioned to you before the show, have had issues with my Eyefinity. When I only want one screen on, it gets the screens confused, and it's very, very annoying to get them back. I've got a kink in my neck from looking to the wrong screen, the one at my left, the little Samsung. So, but on the whole, I push AMD, and will continue to do so. I understand the people that get the Intel stuff, but whatever.
Yeah. Hey, as long as AMD continues to be the more inexpensive product and do the trick, if I mean, my processor was like $150. If I paid $350, it better be the better performing unit. But no, I like it. I mean, maybe I just don't know what I'm missing, but I'm perfectly happy. And looking at $150 for the AMD A series A10 6800K Elite quad core. I'm kind of waiting for their Elite, 6-core or octo-core, and to see what goes on there. But I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research. So my point of bringing this up is next week we'll do our custom $900 build with the new processors, possibly. And the 780 that just got announced, I think, and lots of new stuff. So this summer, a lot of good stuff is coming out, and we can kind of add it to our virtual builds.
I think the 780 runs like $600, so I don't know if that's going to make it into our $900 build.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we just won't have a case or mouse or keyboard or hard drives or RAM in the machine.
It's all garbage.
Man. So, and I think that's pretty much in terms of I think what either of us have played. So there's pretty much one. I've got a new segment that I'm going to introduce at the very end of the show. Now, you know what? Let me do that right now. Okay, Charlie. So, I spend a lot of time on Steam looking at the activity feed, right? So under your name, it just says activity, and that activity feed pretty much shows what everybody in your friends list is playing. If they took a screenshot, if they recommended a game, if they got an achievement, anything like that. So. Pretty much the new segment I'm going to do, and I didn't research it at all. I thought about this segment about 10 minutes ago, and it's going to be called the shout out to the stupidest achievement a friend got on Steam. So I'm going to look at my friends list here on Steam, I'm going to look at my friend activity, and I see that people got achievements, right? So I got Steve519, the CEO of Platform Nation and host of, I think, Lock and Load it's called. On Counter-Strike Global Offensive, let's see, he got an achievement for win a round by defusing a bomb. I think that's a good achievement, so I'm not going to make fun of it, right? Then you've got Mormon Rage, host of the Fanboys podcast, also on Platform Nation. In this game, Roos, he's got an achievement for farming. Have humans complete a granary project. I'm not going to talk about that. That's nice. That's a wholesome thing for him to do. But let me see here. Let me hold on, folks. Like I said, I didn't prepare for this. I'm just looking at people's dumb achievements, and I promise I'll have something. Ooh, Resident Evil Revelations. There's got to be something stupid in here. Let's see. And I don't care if this makes for what the hell? I don't care if this makes for bad airtime. Me just sitting here and reading something that you guys can't see.
Go ahead.
Man, I don't have that many stupid. What about you, Charlie? Look at your friends list. I thought there would be a lot more funny stuff here, but apparently not. I always see this crap when man, okay, maybe I'm gonna have to just bring this up next week. But stupidest Steam achievements. See, now I'm seeing only cool achievements. This is embarrassing. This is terrible. We should just cancel the show and start from scratch.
All right. Well, here's some activity for you. Apparently, I now own Oblivion, even though I didn't. I mean, basically, here's what happened. When I saw the Steam sale on Oblivion after you posted on Facebook, I went on there and I said, "Dude, I've got $12.52 on a gift card. I'm gonna go buy Oblivion for $8 or whatever." So I go on there and I can't buy it. It says you are not allowed to buy it because you already own it. But according to my friend activity, of which I think you might be the only friend I have on Steam, I just bought it on June 3rd. So there you go.
Interesting. That is interesting. All right, so that's suspicious activity. And I did find one. Fodder, Twitter name, Fodder. He's a community member, Ironhammers community member. He also submitted a community rig. So on May 19th, Fodder achieved in Metro Last Light Reunion. And what does this reunion achievement entail? Find and return the crying child's teddy bear. So to me, Charlie, I think that marks the... I wouldn't say that's the stupidest achievement. I would say that's the most... I don't know. Maybe this segment isn't as funny as I thought it would be. I feel defeated.
They can't all be winners.
Good job returning. Good job. You know what? Every episode I'm going to have a new segment that's only going to last one show. How do you like that, Charlie? So, well, good job, Potter, on rescuing that little bastard's teddy bear.
Well, how about this segment that I mentioned briefly, I think, on Facebook, too. We're going to have a segment called Games Not to Play. Every week we'll do this game that we're not endorsing. We're endorsing that you do not play it. The thing is, that game will be Candy Crush Saga every week. Do not play this game. Do not do it.
Hey,
just
guess what?
Do it. You will lose Facebook friends.
I hope my girlfriend is still there in the chat room because she started playing it, and I told her Charlie Wilson said don't play it, and now she's playing it, and I had to hear that stupid whistling song for about 5 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. But yes, she is now playing Candy Crush Saga. I did tell her to not log in under Facebook though, and she did agree with that. But yeah, Candy Crush Saga is a virus that is quickly spreading in our society that needs to be stopped.
The music does apparently change at level 126. So there you go. It sounds just the same. It's more whistling and crappy, but it does change. And it's still not much more fun.
I don't know. Yeah. I definitely stopped playing that game. I don't think I've played it since we last talked about it, and I don't think I ever will. So,
but that's another reason I played Diablo 3. So,
to get away from Candy Crush.
Yeah, less Candy Crush, more Diablo 3. That they say the best way to defeat an addiction is with another addiction. So
yeah,
there you go. Hopefully, I'll get my stuff going up soon. I'll play some Borderlands, play some Oblivion. I heard exactly what you did about Morrowind too. That it's actually more fun with worse graphics, a lot more complicated. So maybe I'll get to that someday too.
Let me ask you this though. I don't know. I've been meaning to ask you this episode. Now, you being a programmer, I downloaded RPG Maker VX Ace, which you can purchase on Steam for about $70. It was on sale the other day, so I've got it. RPG Maker VX Ace. It's pretty much a entry level to making a top-down, Final Fantasy IV-esque RPG, and I put the link there in the Google Hangout for you to take a look at in case you haven't seen it. And I started it. I made a little plateau of grass. I placed my character there, and after that, I couldn't figure anything out. So I think it's something that you should take a look at. And I almost think like we need to collaborate our efforts and make an Ironhammers RPG or something of that nature. What do you think about that?
It's still downloading. I mean, I clicked on the link actually before you brought it up, and it's still looking. That's how bad our connection is right now. But it's probably more, tool-based than programming. So I'll have a look at it for sure. If it ever comes up. I mean, this is brutal. Yeah, I think we've got like a 3 or 4 second delay too. It's there's quite a delay. It's been a long day.
We'll keep this episode short because of that, because obviously that affects our amazing chemistry and comedic tension when there's that much of a delay. My joke isn't as funny by the time you react to it. But let me look at my speed test so that all of our friends in the UK could laugh at us, because our internet is slow enough already. Let's see. Okay, my download speed's about 5 megabits per second, which is pathetic, but I think I'd ask you to do a speed test, Charlie, but it would probably make things even slower. Let's see my upload speed. Let's see my pathetic upload speed.
What are you on? You on my speed test or test my speed or
speedtest.net. I've got half a megabit per second for my upload speed and 5 for download, which is just pathetic. Makes me sick to see how bad my speeds are. But like you said, I think someone may be on the old Netflix. Hopefully, they're watching a good movie.
No,
And
they're going to be watching that show with Mariska Hargitay, whatever that is, the cop show.
I used to know what show that was. I don't remember. I'm out of touch with the police dramas. Oh yeah, one of the one of the Law and Order ones. Yeah. So, okay, because of our bad connection, all I want to do is say I'm going to say two things. Number one, that Ironhammers Overclocked episode 10 will air June 11th, 2013, at the same time and place. And after that, we will have 2 more episodes till the season finale of Ironhammers Overclocked, season 1. And that's kind of like my goodbye to our listeners, but we're not done with the show. Also, Community Rig of the Week are coming back. If you have a machine that you want to show off, send us 3 pictures. I want a picture of the outside, one of the inside, and one of your desktop with the monitor and the mouse and keyboard. Send me the name and send me the specs of this machine to podcast@ironhammers.org, or send it on Facebook or Twitter, whatever. Put it on the YouTube link. I don't really care. And if it's good enough, I will feature it on ironhammers.org, the only site you should ever really be visiting, to be honest. Now that with all that said, for those of you who don't want any spoilers regarding Game of Thrones episode 9, not the future episodes that are coming up, not anything that's in the books, but episode 9 of Game of Thrones that just aired on Sunday, June 2nd, then turn off the show now. All we're going to discuss is Game of Thrones, and then the show will end. So you're not going to miss anything other than awesome Game of Thrones talk. So in 5 seconds, spoiler warnings. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Charlie, I cannot believe that Rob and his mom and his wife and a million other people and the little dog are all dead. Now, in the book, was it this insane? Was it crazier? Tell me all about it, being our resident Game of Thrones expert.
Okay, good lead up. I will talk for like 3 minutes straight. Right. In the book, there's a lot of, what do they call it? They give you hints, foreshadowing. There's a lot of foreshadowing when the Starks and their army come to the twins. The dog goes nuts, and the mom insists that the dog has to come with them because the guards are like, no, you can't bring your dog. Mom says no. The wolves saved Bran when he was getting attacked. This wolf is here because the gods sent it. So there's some hinting there. Another big part that they really glanced over was the laws of hospitality. Once you share food and drink in someone's castle or their house or whatever, that's like a peace offering. It's like there's no killing people when you offer them food and drink. So the mom immediately is like, once you get in there, have something to eat and drink, and we should be safe. So they did kind of do that in the show, but they did not really make a point of it. One other thing is the wife was told not to come. They brought her along, obviously, in the show, and she died first. In the book, she is told, you might be seen as an insult, so stay home. I don't even remember if she was pregnant or not in the book, but I believe she was. So I thought that was significant because that would definitely be significant if there's a future Stark on the way. As far as everything that happened, like beside the foreshadowing, it was a big deal that I forget his name, Admure or whatever, Caitlyn's brother. He was all scared about getting an ugly chick, and then he winds up with a hot one. I don't know why that was so significant, and they made such a point of it in the show, but that was a big deal in the book. Bruce Bolton, he was there. I mean, you see him portrayed as a pretty nasty guy. His home castle is actually called the Dreadfort, and their home sigil is a flayed man. It's like a skeleton. So, because that's what they do. They skin people alive. Which is, of course, where Theon is right now, being tortured by Roose Bolton's son. Roose Bolton doesn't like his son and how demented he is, but the flaying thing, I guess, is passed down on the Bolton family tree. Roose Bolton, I think he leaves before the slaughter, too. The hint that the crossbow bolts are going to start flying is that I want to say it was one of the big, burly northern women that tries to grab one of the Frey guard men and notices that he has mail under his clothes. But I know on the show they made it Caitlin and Roose. And there's still more. The jesters. There are so many jesters in the books that are all completely left out. In fact, they even show one of them in the show, but they ignore him once you meet him. The dueling where Sansa saves a guy from being drowned to death by beer. That guy is made a court jester, and he actually plays a part in the book. But like I said, there's like 4 or 5 jesters that are all very distinct and have a small part in the books that are all left out. And one of them is the guy that Caitlin kills after threatening Lord Frey. In the show, she threatens Frey's wife, but in the book, she actually kills a jester. I don't think that really makes a big deal, but I thought it was weird that they would swap that out. That's all I got.
Well, those are
What do you think?
Well, first of all, those are pretty. To me, those are pretty major swaps. I mean, her sitting there saying, "Hey, let my son go, or I'll kill your wife," makes sense. But let my son go, or I'll kill a jester. I mean, it'd probably be fun entertainment for her to kill the jester, especially if he's one of the ones that isn't as entertaining. Now, and then of course, Rob's wife not being there, and like you said, if there is a heir live in the books, that's a different story. But I think it made sense. You know, I think given the circumstances, I think it made sense. They did, for me not having read the books, I can tell by the way they shot the scene that as soon as that song, The Reigns of Castamere, started playing, like I didn't know what that song was. I didn't know what it signified. I didn't know why Catelyn Stark was staring bewilderedly at the band when that song started playing, but I was like, okay, something weird is going on. And so they did at least give you a feeling of, well, I don't know, I wasn't expecting a slaughter, but I knew something was off. And like you said, I mean, Edmure Stark getting a sexy wife definitely is kind of like, hey, all right, well, now you've read the book, so you know what's going to happen, but me being uninformed, I wonder if he's going to wake up the next morning and they're going to slaughter him too, or they're going to make him, you know, live his life in that castle with his new wife. Don't tell me. I am curious, though. But like everyone else on the planet, that episode did depress me for about 24 hours. And when I was done being depressed, I went back and watched the scene, and I was like, man, this is such a crazy world that George R.R. Martin has created, and I love it, and I love that anybody can die. I love that nothing is sacred. And I cannot wait. I think someone on the internet spoiled the next episode for me just because that's the nature of the internet, but I'm not going to talk about it in the fear that someone else is listening. But as soon as this next episode happens, I'm going to catch up, and I'm going to read the books because I'd like to see the next season with this type of knowledge of characters that may be skimmed over, or with this knowledge of the lore, so that I may maybe enjoy it a little bit more. I'm just afraid of looking at each episode objectively and saying, oh, they missed this and they missed that, which happens, right? When you read a book and then watch a movie, or you read a book and watch a show, you're like, oh, they missed, you know, this guy and that guy. So it's a different, totally different medium, and sometimes it's nice to see how they handle the show, and then go back and see the books. I don't know. It's interesting, but I enjoyed it. I was depressed, but I think the story is going in a good direction, and I hope Arya Stark kills everybody in Westeros now out of anger. And that's it. I think it's good.
I thought the scene actually played out pretty close to the book. I was impressed at how true to the book that they stayed. It was told through Catelyn's eyes, or Catelyn, or whatever, Mother Stark. So basically, she went insane, and that's why she killed the Jester. She lost her mind. And that's like the last thing you hear is, oh, she's gone nuts. Just kill her and put her out of her misery. And she feels the refreshingly cold whatever on her neck. The song is The Rains of Castamere, which they actually do talk about in the show. But essentially, that's like an ode to Tywin Lannister, basically. So once that song was played, it's like, it's the Lannister song, it's time to kill the Starks. That was like the signal. And, of course, they didn't say it in the show, but as you might be able to tell from the meme, it is referred to as the Red Wedding, and it becomes a very talked about event. And there's a saying now that you hear quite a bit that the North will never forget the Red Wedding. So there you go.
Nice. Very cool. So should I be excited? Okay, now that this episode has happened, all right, and now that the whole internet, I'm sure you've seen how insane the internet has gone. Now, there are compilations on YouTube of reaction videos from this episode that aired 48 hours ago. Do you think whatever happens in the next episode, in the season finale, because I don't know what happens, will it match up to this?
I don't know. I know the title for the last episode is out there. I don't remember what it is. But remember, this is like halfway through the third book. They don't actually finish the third book. So I'm not sure what they're going to discuss and how far they're going to go with what plots. As we've seen, the Jaime and Ugly Girl, their story played out and finished up pretty quick. I don't think we even really know what happened there in the last like 2 or 3 episodes, but there's still a lot to go before we finish the third book, and I have no idea what direction they'll go. As I mentioned on Facebook, there was 2 major weddings. We had one. The other one is Joffrey and Marjorie, which is also pretty interesting, but I don't think that'll be what they finish the season off with. So, I don't know.
Well, I wonder, and knowing, so you think season 4 of the show will be the second half of the book, or is the second half and then like some of the fourth book?
I know it will, because a lot happens in the third book, and yeah, the Red Wedding probably stands out. Even after the 4th and 5th books, it stands out pretty well. But there's some more surprises to come as far as the series goes. And none of it happens with Daenerys, the Dragon Queen Targaryen.
God, dude. Look, I saw the conversations on Facebook. Right? I saw you guys were talking about on Facebook. And look, yes, she's in a different part of the world. None of the characters have anything to do with her, but look, okay, it's very simple. I think you and everyone else that's hating on her is just afraid of this beautiful woman with all this power, Charlie. That's all. You guys are hating on her, man.
As I clarified, she is interesting. I like when she is going back and forth between her whiny brother and her big, massive king of the horse people. That was interesting. And she had dragons, which was interesting. But have you even seen a dragon in the last 3 or 4 weeks? No, and what do you care about these stupid slave cities that are way far away? Nobody likes her except for all the slaves she saves. And even then, I mean, basically it happens. It's like America where the slaves are freed, and then what? I mean, in the books by now, it's a theme of, oh, we've got all of these slaves, my precious children, that don't have any food and are all miserable and just a bunch of loafing welfare cases. Oh, wow, whatever. And all the people in power hate her guts. And there's just so, if you read the books, there's so many of these, like, Arabish, exotic names that are hard to follow, and you don't care about any of them anyway. And it's when you start reading the book, it's like, ooh, Tywin, oh, Cersei. Cersei becomes a big character that we follow in the books, and you're reading, oh, Jaime Lannister, oh, and then it's like, oh, we got to go over to the other side of the world because we're supposed to give a shit about the Dragon Girl some more. And I hinted to you, I like where she's at the end of the 5th book, but getting to that point, it's basically, it's so exciting because the rest of her stuff is so freaking boring.
So let me ask you this. Straight up, do you think that the author, between the 1st and 4th books, knew the direction, or did he create this crazy complex storyline of her and her brother being the heir and heiress to the throne and all this stuff? Do you think that he created this part of the world and then it forked off into such a different storyline, and he just couldn't write her out, and he finally found the way to kind of pigeonhole her back in? Like, do you think that there was a point where he's like, holy crap, I don't know what to do with this character, and that's why it's kind of stagnant storyline?
This whole story has been very, very, very deliberately plotted from the beginning. The major problem is book 4, which is basically, he admits he had trouble aging the Stark children. They're too young, and they have to start coming into their own, and there's probably sex involved, and he didn't know what to do. So the 4th book is pretty much a throwaway. If you're reading, it's readable, but it's not very exciting. But as far as everything on the East, I hinted before that, you know, now that Westeros knows she's there with dragons, people start seeking her out, and most of these people we have not even met yet. So it becomes interesting as she starts to get some more Westerosians coming after her, and it brings more of the story that we're familiar with out to the East, and it makes everything a little more continuative. But even then, I don't know. What I don't like about, I know I rag on her a lot, and yeah, she's the only main female character we've seen frontal nudity on. Fine. But it just feels like so inevitable that she is gonna come to Westeros and kick ass, and I don't like that feeling of inevitability in such a crazy book, you know, with so much crazy stuff happening. I don't like that it feels so set in stone that, you know, 1,000 pages from where I'm at, she's still probably going to be around with a bunch of dragons kicking ass. And I just wish it would hurry up and do it, you know, instead of wasting our time and, you know, slave city boredom. I don't know. There you go.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's kind of like you have this tournament with all these amazing teams or fighters or whatever you want to equate it to, and
you know the Heat are going to get to the finals. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yes, there you go. There you go. And but not even that. That you've got this whole tournament. They got this whole tournament, and then 2 teams get to the finals, and then 1 team wins. But instead of winning the tournament, another team comes out of nowhere and says, all right, here I am. And I think that's what it seems like with Daenerys. It's like she's got dragons that one dragon can go destroy an entire army. So it's kind of like, yeah, you're right. It's like this wild card that you know at some point she's going to come and raise hell. And you're right. It's like it almost makes everything that's going on seem irrelevant because inevitably she's going to come. And I mean, if Wildfire destroyed Stannis' entire army, one little dragon just could fly around and light everybody on fire. Technically, ideally, right?
It is worth noting, they do not make a big deal of it in the books, but it is stated once or twice that Stannis and Melisandre may have a dragon egg. So there you go.
But they haven't even touched on that on the show, right?
I think they might have hinted at it when they had the guy tied to the bed and were leeching his blood and were, sacrificing kings with leeches. That, if you're going to bring a dragon to life, you're going to have to make a grand sacrifice. I think it's about what she said. But, I mean, they breezed over it so quickly you didn't even notice it. And it's kind of that way in the books, too.
That is very interesting. Very interesting. And I think on that note,
Did you take note of the names? Did you take a note of the names that she was mentioning when she was throwing the leeches?
I heard her mumbling stuff. But wait. I remember at that moment. Yeah. She said, like, I think she said Ned's. I think it was all dead people, right? No. It was like Ned. I don't remember. Tell me.
Well, right now in the kingdom there are 4 kings. There was 5 until Renly died. Now there's 4. And basically she named off the other 3 kings. There is the king of the Iron Men, whose name I don't remember. It's Theon's dad. There is King Robb, and there is King Joffrey. King Robb is now dead. I will leave you with that.
Ooh. Lord Almighty.
I know. So she's basically she's talking to Davos. It's like, you don't believe in my magic? Here you go. Let's see what happens. And now Davos, who we also get to follow in the books, we were found he's like, you know what? If all 3 of these guys die, what am I going to say about this girl's power? I'm going to have to, buy into this fire god. And I kind of like Davos, and I like his grudge against Melisandre, and we'll see where that goes in the show and in the books. We're really not quite through with that. So,
well, folks, Ironhammers Overclocked, episode 9, once again showing you and proving why you need to immerse yourself in the world of George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones. Now, on Season 3, on home box office, and Charlie is drinking 2 beer bottles at once. Live. One of the perks you get from watching the show live. I am going to wrap it up, Charlie, because this delay in our bandwidth is quite upsetting. But all I will say, folks, is we'll see you in 7 days, and by then we will have seen the season finale of Game of Thrones. Charlie, last word, sir, for our beautiful intercontinental community.
We'll talk about more computers next week.
Yes. We would have. I wanted to have a long discussion on the new processors, but this 3-4 second delay sucks. So by next week we'll get our internet stuff settled, and we'll go from there. But next week we will have a full discussion on the new processors. Actually, Charlie, how about next week's topic: new Intel versus new AMD processors? We'll get the community to weigh in. What do you think about that, sir?
Sure, we'll do that. We'll do the season finale of Game of Thrones, obviously, and be very stoked about our new segment, What Games Not to Play, featuring Candy Crush Saga.
Yes. And one last thing, I was thinking about this earlier. As soon as this Game of Thrones is done, we will be the official PC hardware and Dexter final season podcast.
Oh, that's right. It's the final season of Dexter and the final half season of Breaking Bad as well, which I am a huge fan of.
Yes. We might have to have 2 separate shows, man, because it's getting a little outrageous with all the shows we have to talk about. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. Ironhammers Overclocked, episode 8. It was awesome. Thank you guys for bearing with the internet difficulties. I don't think it affected the show too much. You still got a bunch of amazing charisma and personality and information. We will see you guys in 7 short days. Watch Game of Thrones. Play some games. Get some trading cards on Steam. And buy Skyrim Legendary Edition for $60 with all DLC. Go on the Humble Indie Bundle and buy all those games. Go on ironhammers.org and read the latest and greatest in PC gaming technology. Shout out to Bobby Gooding and Dan Natman, the UK guys, and Joseph Marsden, the backbones of ironhammers.org. And, of course, thank you, Charlie, for joining me once again in the premier United States Peace, Hardware, and Game of Thrones podcast ever. We will see you later, folks. Goodbye, good night, and good luck. And remember that the North will never forget. And this message has been brought to you by House Targaryen.